the like. First of all, they show that the pyramid is built up of these big slabs of stone. Now we just named 2,500,000 of them. 3 3/4 all the way down to 300-ton megaliths. I don't even know what you call it again. And some of them, hear me well, are composed of solid granite. Now, my history and my research shows me that granite is composed of compressed igneous rock, which means that you take the regular rock you have, and then you have to really pack it. You have to put weight on that thing. And granite is usually found under mountain ranges. Hear me well. There is usually no force known to human here that can compress rock like that, except for lengths of time when rocks and mountains and so have built up upon this rock to make it like this. It breaks diamond drills at times. That's how tightly compressed that rock is. Now, I asked, where did they get the rock to build the Great Pyramid? Thus scholars say, well, they got it from basalt, because a lot of that pyramid is basalt. Not a lot, some of that pyramid is basalt. There are a lot of little pyramids at the foot there on that plateau that were obviously not composed in the same manner, don't show the same geometric understanding, and are not showing the same kind of architecture. Nor is all of that pyramid made of basalt, or that's a fool you. And the basalt that they may find around there, where they say, well, they can show excavation sites and they have other things, you find that that was done after Napoleon was there. It was done by the French also in 1908, and many other things about that don't make sense the way that they spell it out in the encyclopedias and in the dictionary. But let's go on with that. Let's just let all the basalt be. But now let's go for the granite. We'll go for the jugular real quickly here. Where did they get the granite from? Now, Africa is not known for mountain ranges. There are 13 of them, as I understand. But the closest one, and I assume that at the time they built it, they go to the closest one, around there, is close to 1,100 miles away. Now, I don't know what may be deep under the ground there, but I don't think those slaves are digging too far deep under the ground there. So they'd probably go to where they could find the best granite possible at the shortest distance. They found it and they quarried it. But how did they get it to the site? And how did they quarry something that diamond drills and bits and pylons and all type of excavating equipment now couldn't do? They asked Gus K. Newberg, and I'm from Chicago, and that area, he's one of the biggest, oldest contractors, you know, one of the old gentlemen there, and he said he wouldn't take on the job. Now this is back 2,686 BC, and according to the history they're teaching you, they had flintstones, they had some copper, a little gold, but they weren't doing anything to extricate a granite structure weighing 300 pounds out of a solid mountain underneath it. I don't even want to talk about the 15 that comprise the king and the queen. I want to know about one. Well, how did they get one to that site? And then get it up off the ground and inside 1/4 way up on a structure weighing 6 million tons and 2,500,000 composition blocks. And they have smaller weights underneath that big weight. And I would love for somebody, no, I don't want you to stay around trying to hem and haw all that time. Don't tell me how it was done. You think about how it was done, because I don't know how it was done based on what they've told me. And they have these granite giants right there. How did they get them? Oh, but I do want you to solve one problem for me. How many men, slaves, or whatever they use, did it take to cut the rocks and bring them, 2,500,000 of them now, to that site? How many of the 100,000 would you use for that? Let me get 3 guesses again. I hope the fellows speak up this time. How many of the would you use now? How many slaves? Now you got 100,000. How many did you commit to moving and pouring 2,500,000 boxes of stone? All of them? Okay, well, let's just say, maybe 100. Maybe 100 of them? Yeah, you're as facetious as I am. All right, how many say all of them you commit to that job? How many say half of them you commit to that job? How many say, I don't know, let's get on with the whole lecture? We'll get on with the whole lecture. But remember, you got 100,000 slaves. When you see them in the movies, these stones, again, are resting on something that they can pull along. I have a blackboard here, and I don't want to start writing on something I shouldn't be writing on. But imagine in your mind, you have all of these 2,500,000 stones now, or bricks, or whatever you want to call them, that you've got to move to a site. And they usually are on logs. Listen to me, aren't you? They're on these logs, and they're moving along on these logs. Now, I'm sometimes not too bright. I do the best I can with what I have. Always need more. And I looked at this and I said, now logs to me mean wood. Wood to me means trees. And trees to me means hardwood, sequoia, redwood, things like this. And I said, boy, Kafir, Akibulad, Egypt, Africa is noted for sequoia and redwoods and hardwoods, like I'm in Canada, right? What are you laughing at? Isn't it known for that? Well, I didn't know that at the time, so I went research because that's what my professors and teachers told me. So I figured they told me, and what? It had to be right? Because I've been there for education, right? And they're educated, right? So my education let me go and look again, and I found out that they didn't have anything like that over in Africa. That they had cycas, palm. What is some other good? Somebody help me? Well, now you had to go and spot. You used intelligence there. What? You used intelligence. I found that the hardest wood in Africa was mahogany. And I found mahogany didn't grow all over Africa. There was a central area in the Congo. And I started to say, Congo here, Egypt here. And I said, boy, like that little Chihuahua says in the commercial, I guess I get a bigger box. Because something wasn't right there to get that stuff from one place to the other. And I said, how many men did they commit to felling and quarrying trees, cutting down? In fact, they have what they call a forestry project. Because to move 2,500,000 boxes of stone, the smallest one weighing 3 3/4 tons, like that. What you told me that, a Ram truck? Ram truck, we got to move now. How many logs do you think it took?
The whole forest.
And while we're thinking about that, understand that the unique thing about trees, they have limbs and branches. And if they don't have a lot of limbs and branches, they have at least a truncation. They bend over, and they do have something that grows on the top, especially like with the palm. Okay? So not only do you have to axe the tree down, because they didn't have pneumatic drills and saws. You got to axe it down. They say axe it down. They axe it down. And then you had to trim it, and then you had to get it to the site. How many men did that take? Those of you commit your 100,000 men, you can't go say you're out of it. Man, you're fired. You're foreman, you're gone. How many more men now we're going to commit to that? Well, while you're pondering on that one, let's get to another one.